told me I had to come over here and see the new spot, Flavor Hills, that was opening up. And he said he bigged y'all up. He talked highly of y'all. I didn't know what y'all looked like, so that was the dope part.
Right, so that's been a big thing for us, is really getting an alignment with who we're letting in, allowing good people to come into our system to make it better, and being radically honest with ourselves about the fact that we need help. 100% I need help. Anybody who's offering help, who can seriously help, I take it. Because why wouldn't I want
Never too proud.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what's the alternative? Not take the info, continue to struggle, continue to be in a hard situation?
Yeah.
Or someone comes in, I accept that they know more than me because they have the info. They then share the info. We now both have the info. And now, like, I can continue to progress with my life. I don't see a scenario that works out better than that.
Facts. Yo, so you hit on decisions keep popping up too. And one of the things about decisions that I've learned over the past, I don't know how many years, is that the most difficult decisions, if I had to like look back, turn around and like look back at my life, the most difficult decisions I ever had to make turned out to be the best ones to drive me in the direction I wanted my life to go. If that makes sense, right? Like the easy decisions never take me where I want to go. But the one where it's like, all right, once I pass this line, bro, it's up. Like there's no going back.
Yeah, ain't no going back from this.
And all of those where your heart's beating, you can't sleep at night. Like, am I making the right decision? Because like it feels so different than what you got going on. But on the other side of it, I could tell, and for y'all listening too, everybody listening, like the most difficult decisions I ever had to make in life always turned out to work out the best for me. So like, I know a lot of people, we have conversations all the time, anybody everywhere, where they're like, wow, like this is a really tough decision. And like from the outside, when you're not involved in the situation, you can see everything. And it's like, wow, nah, bro, you should really make that decision. But when you're in it, it's very difficult to see it because that thing is right in your face, right? So, but for everyone listening, if you're in one of those situations where you need to make a decision and it's a tough one, but you know that it's supposed to work out better for you, make the decision. Make that decision and stand behind it 10 toes. Because once you build the habit of standing behind decisions that you make because you're confident in yourself, everything will change. Yep. Everything will change.
Yeah, that's so true. So when you said that, it made me think about me stopping tattooing when I did. I don't know why I decided January 1st, 2024, I was done. You know, I feel like at my height, my following was great.
Yeah.
I was booked out for months. I was able to charge whatever I wanted to charge. But something told me to stop and shift gears and go in another direction. Mm-hmm. I still don't know what that is yet, but it still feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the last hard decision I made.
Mm-hmm. So, it's not like the military.
Now, facts. That was, for us, it was like getting out the military. Right. Because once you in the military, it's like you in it. That's your day-to-day life. You don't know nothing outside of it. It's its own infrastructure for real.
Right.
So when it was coming time, like, you know, I knew I wanted to get out. But when it comes time to actually push, like, I'm about to get out, it's very different. All the hypothetical go out the window until it's time to, like, really, you know, really press go on the action.
Yeah.
But it was like, you know, I'm at the point where I wasn't liking what I was doing.
Yeah.
Right? And when it comes time to make a decision, if you're not going to stand on what you're supposed to be doing in life, how can you ever get anything? Like, you see me, like, why would you be worth, like, so I try to think about things from a worthy standpoint, right? Why would I be worthy to get the thing that I want if I'm not even willing to go fight for it?
Facts.
And you're not worthy of it. You shouldn't get it. In fact, it should be the opposite, right? If we're thinking about it logically as how things can go, right? If I'm not willing to fight for the thing that I want, how can I possibly truly say that I deserve it? And I try to live in that mantra where now everything that I want, I'm going to go for it. Because if I don't, you know, it's like Man in the Arena. Right, it's one of my favorite things in the arena, where it's like it's not the critic who count, not the man who points out where the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deed could have done them better. Right, that's my favorite line, because if you're on the sideline, not taking action, I will never take your advice.
Ever.
You can't ever. Like, you can't speak to me about advice because you haven't taken any for yourself. You can't even talk to me about risk. You don't know what it is. You've never taken it.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So really focusing on developing ourselves and standing on the decisions we make, but also setting ourselves up for positivity by really thinking about those decisions.
Yeah.
Weighing them with counsels. I got several OGs that I talk to in all realms, from the streets to politics to I want every angle on this decision before I make a decision on it. Because once I go, I'm going to go.
And it's 10 to full speed ahead.
Yep.
Full, ain't no hesitation, because the hesitation is what stalls you. Nah, like, you got to stand behind it. Like, once you really got to believe in yourself. Like, I was getting out. That was one of the things. Before I finally turned in those papers, I had to sit down with myself, because it was like, all right, bro, I did a list of pros and cons for staying in versus getting out. I'm talking about, I ran the gamut, but also, like, I had a plan for where I thought I wanted, at least had some type of direction, and I knew that I had structured myself financially to be able to take the time to figure it out, right? So on the back end, it's like, wow, man, all right, Eric, if you truly believe that you want to do something, like, yo, do you believe in yourself? I do believe in myself. Like, I've got to this point out of the fact that I've got everything done. Why would I not believe that I could, if I was able to do this on the behalf of everybody else but myself for the past 28 years, how can I not be successful putting all this energy into something for me and the people I care about? Bro, it's up.
Up.
And I just been pushing with that ever since. And I had people with me on the same energy, and now we'll come around and we try to share that energy, spread that energy around, because, like, yo, who's going to tell us we can't do anything?
Man, that's a fact.
Who? Who? Bro, we give us a day. Give us a week. I promise you it'll get figured out. And as we continue adding capable people around, that time gets faster. Right? There's more angles, more people. It just gets exciting. Now we wake up every day and it feels like, what are we getting into today?
It's like a limitless pill. It's sort of like when you figure out, like, all right, the real game is the power that you have inside, and that no one could take it from you. That's the secret. No one can take it from you unless you give it to them. Right? So now it's like, all right, I got my power inside. It's up. I got the rest of my life to continue to wield this power properly, right? Being a stand-up guy within the community, really being able to go to places that I talk about. We're like being able to pull up and they see us, and it's not like nothing negative. It's like, oh, yo, the bros are back. Everywhere we go, we just been driving Houston, to Atlanta, back to Virginia, back to here in Raleigh, back home. And it's every single place we pull up is love, because that's the only thing it can be.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that feeling, you got me teed up, but it's like a limitless pill for real when you realize, like, putting that power into yourself and getting better. Because once you get better, it overflows into the people around you. They can't help it.
Facts.
See what I'm saying? But I was talking to my mans the other day, and I was like, hey, like, your kids watch everything you do, right? So if they see you go for it, they don't see that Pop's not home. They see that Dad went for it. That's the difference. You see what I'm saying? They don't see that Pop's not home. They see that he went for it. They see that he was willing to do what he had to do. He still sent money home. He still made decisions. He still was out there hooking and jabbing to make sure that the family's good. That's the perspective that they get. It'd be us turning it into something else, because we're not designed in this day and era to really focus on old school principles.
Yeah.
Like just being a good man or a good woman, just having character, telling the truth, standing on the truth, and calling people out when they lie. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that phase of life has just been turning me up, because it's a limitless pill in that sense when you realize your purpose is to get better.
Yeah.
Like that's the purpose, get better. If you're weak in something, right, either get better at it, bring somebody on that is good at it, but continuing to get better at your strengths, continuing to see things in others and pushing them is unbelievable. Yeah,
because having a growth mindset, and I'm sure you've seen this too, like, growth mindset is something, one of those other things that's become a buzzword now, right? Like, oh, growth. But, like, what does that mean, right? Most people don't know that, like, you actually can develop a plan to grow yourself, right? To develop yourself, to work to become better. Like, you don't have to just figure it out. You're not going to wake up and one day be like, oh, man, God bless me to be better today. You know, like, no, like, it's constant work day in and day out. When I was at the John Maxwell training a couple years ago for my certification, one of the things he said that stuck with me, he said, the day that you start to feel like you made it is the day you start to die. And then it sent me on this crazy spiral down, because, like, I think about it, and, like, the most the example that I can use right now to make it click for everybody is retirement. Think about when most people die. It's within the first couple of years after retirement because they have no purpose anymore. They're not working towards anything, right? Like I plan to be chasing something I'm going to get better to the day they bury me in that casket. Even then, I'm figuring it out, right? Because
we still go into eternity.
Why? I've seen so many people and meet so many people who's like, wow, man, like I wish I would have done more. I want to say that too, but also I want to be like, all right, but if I'm being realistic, I did do enough. You know, like I don't want to sit back and have regrets and be like, oh, I wish I would have did this. And I don't want to do it alone either, because once you start building a certain life, you have to separate yourself from people. And that's the scary part, because when people are getting started and you got to create that separation, you feel like you're going to be alone forever, not realizing that it's tons of people who made the jump who are alone waiting for somebody like you to pop up and become a part of the group. Right. And so like now we change that framework, right? Like, if you're a person that's changing up and you want to lead the street, so you want to get out of the clubs where like you're not going to meet the person that's going to be on the other side of your plate in the place you're trying to leave, right? You're never going to get the opportunities that you want in the place that you tell yourself you need to leave from, right? So you have to change everything about what you're doing. You can't expect certain aspects and be like, oh, this person's supposed to pop up. No, you're going to keep running into the same stuff because you're going to the same thing. Start going to these networking events. Start going to hang out where you know people who are doing more things. Wow, those business. I heard a lot of young business people go here. Maybe I should go here this weekend instead of the club. Like those decisions are the ones that get you into the people, to get you to opportunities, to get you to the life you want to get to. You know what I'm saying?
So, because I know you're on your growth journey as well.
Right.
What's been a difficult growing point for you on that journey?
Changing the way I see myself. Yeah, I think that's been the hardest part not the hardest part, but because none of it is really hard. It's just what's taking the longest, I guess. It's changing how, like, people see me a certain way, but I guess just like you said, the moment you feel like you made it, you're dead or whatever, I just feel like, I don't even know how to put it in words, but I feel like I'm, if it's like I'm constantly not enough, but it's like I haven't got to a space where I can be like content in my growth. It's almost like I'm like constantly, like I was saying earlier about the competition mindset I had, that I'm growing out of, losing that, and also being at peace with where I am right now, instead of thinking so far in the future or comparing myself to a version of myself that I made up in my head. Yeah. So it's just trying to strip all of that stuff. And like I was saying before, not consuming, all of the bullshit that's flowing around.
And it's a lot of bullshit out there. It's a lot of bullshit.
So I would say that's the most challenging.
One click away.
Part. Right, exactly.
I think that's been, it's because, so you mentioning that, right? I think the day and age that we're in, social media makes it easy to fall into traps of viewing yourself negative. Right? So like, let's say for instance, I was joking with you about this the other day, but I said, naturally you go online and it's somebody yelling at you that you suck. Right? If you're not making $500,000 a year off this, but it's like, that's not realistic. Like 95% of people won't make more than 50 to 60 their entire career. Right? Like 50 to 60,000 their entire career. So like to come out and blanketly say that, you're putting pressure on people unnecessarily. Now they're looking in the mirror like, damn, I'm not making $500,000 a year. Well, I can tell you no one does. There's only a few people who do it, and they're very specific scenarios in which that those things have to be met for them to be hit. But that piece, we all struggle with that, right? In terms of like how you view yourself and upping your self-image. One of the things I used to do, I started showing each version, I think of myself in versions, right? Before it used to be like, okay, I'm getting better, but what am I getting better towards, right? So then I'm like, okay, I got to have versions of myself, just like there's versions of the iOS, there's versions of books. There should be a version to trust and how many trusts that there are, right? Because the old school version of myself isn't going to get the job done forever. So that got to get updated at some point. So I've started getting to the point where using AI to think of higher versions of myself. All right, so like this is version 1. All right, AI, these are the things that I'm trying to get to. Show me version 2 of myself. Showed me version 2, then I got to version 2 of myself. It's like, all right, show me version 3, and I'm out here working on version 3 right now. But until you put a parameter on yourself in terms of like the thing that you're going to go for, because competitive mind state, we talk about this all the time. We're competitive as hell to beat ourselves, but understanding that we're a unit, right? So I get the drop from E to better control myself. I don't get the drop from E to then compete with E.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, oh, damn, E speaks really well. Okay, yo, E, I don't speak very well. I'm trying to get the drop on myself.
Yeah.
How do I speak better? Right? I'm not doing it to compete with E. That doesn't even make any sense. E's on my team. We always joke because, like, I always say, like, imagine going into war, right? You got the biggest dude out. He's on your side running with you. And then you look at him and be like, damn, you know what? I'll fight him. He's on your team. It's us versus the opposite side, the opposition. Whatever you want to call them, the play arounds, the joke. It's us versus them. I want the best people on my team. I want the most elite people. I want when I see E, I'm like, yo, I can't touch him. Yeah. But he's on my team.
But we say, hey, we got this thing we say all the time where it's like one of us would do something, we're like, damn, bro, I'm glad he's on my team. Like I'm like, it's like that. And like everyone should strive to be in a group like that, where it's like your homie does something or your homegirl does something amazing, and it's like, damn, I'm glad she or he is on my team.
It's on my team.
I don't have to. I'm glad that's not my op. Right? But most people will sit here and it's like, Chris doing this. Nah, I'm gonna try to one up him.
You feel me? Let me show him I can do it too.
Why? Nah, I want you. You need to be your best. You need to be your best. I need to be my best. So whoever we stand against, we know they ain't built like that.
No, they
You got to continue to build that. It's like when competition is being placed in the wrong spots. Right. That goes back to learning to work together. Like there's times we have to compete, but even in business, right? There's competition, but it doesn't have to be the way we think it has to be. Competition isn't always negative. Competition is necessary. Like even with us, we compete in the gym all the time.
All the time. I might see E skipping a little too fast. I might take off.
Yo, I'm telling you, like even, and it sounds funny, but I'm talking, it's like that, but it's fun because like, wow, I know he's getting better. Right? And it feeds off. Like, oh, he read a book. Nah, all right. And he came back to the group and taught us something. Nah, bro. I need to go find something to bring back to the group to teach now. So I can't be the only one not teaching. Oh, he did this. He lost this much weight. All right, cool. I need to get back in and get in it, right? And like, it pushes you to be better in a sense where like all of you are pushing, but it's fun. Like, why would I want to be with people who aren't trying to be better, bro? If we level up 10 times and you in the same spot, bro, you can't be here anymore. Yeah. Right. And I'm not trying to get left behind because I know my people around me, they working every day. Every day. So I'll be out here lacking if I want to. I'll be out here with a sign saying looking for friends. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all don't take your foot off the gas.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's real though. Healthy competition.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact. Because they kind of villainize it. Right? It's because like, how do we get everybody in alignment? Put everybody in a box, all right? But there's I'm a big proponent of this. I talk about it all the time. There's zero limitations, right? You're only limited physically by the thing you can think about. So if you can think past it, there is no barrier because you've thought past it, right? The issue is that we're not taught to think that way. One of my favorite classes went to the Naval Academy, went to prep school in Rhode Island in 2011. I think I went to NAPS 2011. And one of the first classes they taught us was how to learn.
How to learn?
How to learn. I said, wait, whoa. It was, I can't remember her name. Older black lady.
Yeah. With the little
she
twist.
was so nice though. I can't remember her name, but it was a how to learn, and it was a class on physically how to learn stuff. I said, wait, why was this not a priority? If us learning how to learn things would allow us to be able to learn anything for the rest of our lives, why would this not be a core-based class? Right. You see what I'm saying? So for me, then became, all right, if the number one class from one of the top institutions in the world is to learn how to learn, I'm going to take that dead serious.
Yeah.
So I really learned how to learn. Like, what does that mean? How can if I wanted to become a doctor tomorrow, how could I actually lay out a path to become a doctor? Or if I wanted to have a business, or if I wanted to do anything basically, how can I learn how to do that thing? Well, that's the thing that we should be learning, because once you learn how to learn, you can literally learn anything. Right? But once again, I always try to come from a standpoint of empathy, because when you start to learn more things, our mentor always used to say to us, he'd be like, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know anything. I'm like, the more I'm learning now, is like, man, we don't know nothing.
Yeah.
We don't really know nothing. So from our lens, we always try to approach it like, the things that I know them, so I try to help with them. But I'm also on a day-to-day basis hooking and jabbing. That's why I'm in the gym. That's why I'm reading books, because I still have to play the game of my life as well. I ain't making nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's just...
Like, what's up? You about to say something?
No, I was just letting y'all bounce back.
Nah, Chris funny, because he's quiet, but he got a lot naturally that goes on in his mind.
Facts.
So he always plays the cut, and then he slips in at the right time. so it does get me. But going back to the growth piece of struggling with the competition, but then also how you see yourself. Why do you think how we see ourselves is important?
Because of what you just said about the limitations. If you see yourself a certain way, I feel like you'll place yourself in a certain box. If you see yourself as whatever it is, if you see yourself as whatever you're doing for work, if you identify with that, then you won't be able to see past that. Mm-hmm. So just like you said about your thoughts or your limitations, I think it's super important to understand that you have no limitations. So I don't even see myself as an artist or a black man or any of those things, because I want to be able to level up at any time. I want to be able to, change the version of myself at any time. So that's why I don't talk a lot too. I like to listen, because I don't want to miss what y'all are saying. So, but yeah, I think that's the main reason why it's important to see yourself in a certain way, so you don't put limits on the version that you are, or that you think you are.
I agree with that, because I think one of the things people don't realize is you tend to behave in a manner of how you think people see you. Mm-hmm. So if I walk around and, I think people think that, like, I'm the worst type of person, like, I'm not actively trying to be that way, right? But now I'm walking, I do look shifty. I got my head on, like, now every year you're inadvertently doing the things that would make people think you are the way you don't want them to think you are, if that makes sense. Yeah. And you see it all the time. It's like, because you think that way, you don't think you're doing anything, but it's the little things that you do naturally, because they're going to think I'm this way, blah, blah, blah. You know what actions do it, but now you perform those actions, and now you're unaware of them, which puts you in the situation that you wanted to create. So we have the ability to create the scenarios we actually don't want to be in, just by what we believe about ourselves. So, like, that's so important. That's huge.
That's why I go so hard with journaling, right? Because everyone's caught up in their own world. They don't realize that there are other perspectives. Right? It's actually very selfish to not look at other people's perspectives, right? So, like, example, I wrote this paper one time called the reasonable sense of paranoia, because I was out in the park and I'm hanging out, I'm having a good time, and this dude walks into the park with a hoodie on, a mask on, and just all black in a family park where, like, people are with their kids. So, like, you're an ominous figure, right? Not that he's black. You're an ominous figure walking into the spot where people are serious about their protection. It's not no game. But in his mind, he didn't think of it as anything. This is just the hoodie that I throw on. I throw my mask on. It is what it is, until you come around a dude with his family who's not joking with you, who didn't see it that way, who there's a threat that walked into the park. There's a masked figure in a ski mask in 100-degree weather, when you're not supposed to be in those things, right? So having the sense of, like, coming out of yourself and realizing, well, everybody has a complex life like I do, Sonder, right? Everybody has a unique, complex life like I do. They have their own problems. They have their own systems. They have their own perspectives. They have things that's going on. And when you're unaware of those things, you're oblivious to the world, and you create so many issues inadvertently. Like I was watching this man with his daughter in Publix. Right? He was walking, and she came up and asked him, "Hey, Dad, can I have this?" And he said, "No, you can't have that." Right? So naturally, from his perspective, he's just telling, "Oh, my daughter, you can't have it." Right? No, you can't have it. That's not what she's hearing. Right? In her mind is, I can't have this. He didn't explain why I can't have it. He didn't say that we're budgeting. These things need to be tightened up. That's not necessary within our plan. And if it was in our plan, then we'd be able to get it. But it's not. He didn't say that to her. He said, "No, you cannot have it." To a child that doesn't know how to interpret anything than the direct words that you say and the feelings that come across. So "no, you can't have it" means I'm not worthy to have it, which then creates doubt in life. You see what I'm saying? So that's the hidden piece, is our words are super powerful. They create spells, right? That's what spelling words is, a spell, right? And if you're not able to understand those things, it's because you're not taking other people's perspectives into consideration. You don't see outside of yourself. So you can't see how it would be a view from someone else's lens. You only see it from yours.
Yeah.
Right? So as we continue to develop, that's something that I've been trying to focus on, is continually getting outside of myself. Like the moment that I noticed her was because I came outside of myself and was like, wow, he's talking to his daughter in a way that his daughter doesn't understand. And she's actually internalized it. I watch her put it down, and then her demeanor closed down. And I said, wow, I wonder how long that's going to stay with her, unfortunately. I wonder how many opportunities she's not going to accept because she doesn't feel like no, you can't have that. Oh, this is the thing that I want. No, you can't have that. Every time, like clockwork, until they break that cycle. That's the cycle of the spell now. She has a spell cast on her that she can't have anything. Right? And the only way to break that is for her to go internal and be able to see past that. Right? So that's what we mentioned with the limitations. Those words are limitations. No, you can't have anything. Now I'm in a box of people who can't have anything. Mm-hmm. So that was something, just noticing that going over what you're saying. It was something I came back to.
That's deep right there.
So we've been we've been open a little while now, and paintings have been getting sold off the walls. So what's that been like? It's been exciting for us, being able to see people come in and see this and be so inspired that like, yo, I want to have that and I'm not leaving without it. Like, and that's one of the things we really wanted to see come to fruition by this, is like, now there's more people that look like us that get exposed to this. Cause I'd say I've been to maybe one art gallery my whole life. Like, on all intents and purposes, I think there's tons of people like me that would never get exposed to anything like this. But being exposed, we see every day the reaction. So like, what's that been like for you?
It's been amazing, man. I mean, since y'all opened up, everybody in the city is talking about y'all. Everywhere I go. I mean, even yesterday, I was at the Big Easy and speaking to the host and some of the servers up front. And they were like, "You the guy from Flavor Hills." That's the first thing they said. So, and I have artwork hanging in Big Easy. They didn't even know me from their restaurant. So the fact that people recognize me and like attach me to this place is dope. And the painting selling off the wall is always great.
Yeah.
my monetary winnings. I always like monetary.
But Crack say, run it up.
Run it up. Yeah, but more importantly, it's dope to be partnering with y'all, like and being a part of what y'all are doing. I mean, it's way bigger than me receiving a check for a painting.
But a check is always nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I like to put that out there because oftentimes, when we start getting into partnerships and growing, like, you guys should be making a check. You out there, you should want a check. You should want profit. You should want money, because that's the only way you can step into your true personality or being your true self, is when you get the funds and resources to be able to do it.
Facts.
So for us, partnering, we want everybody to always get a check. That's big for us. Like, if you're not making money with us, that's an issue with me.
Yeah.
All right. Because if we're going to partner, I want you to become as rich as humanly possible, to show people that working together, there's too much abundance.
Yep.
Right. If we think about what, I always say this to you, if you think about what God is for us to be, right? If you look around, like all of us are individual characters, all individually able to do things, live individual lives. There's so much out there. If you think about what God has to be for us to be, you'd realize that there couldn't be a shortage of anything. There could never be an abundance issue. Like if you need money, there will always be more to have because it's designed that way. It can't be designed any other way. It couldn't be designed with shortages, or how would we continue to get ahead or move forward? It has to be designed in a way where you can continue to push.
Yeah.
This is the only way you elevate, right? So getting to that piece and realizing like, all right, everything that we do is in abundance. I want everybody who ever does a deal with us in any type of way to make money. That's period.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't want it to be any other way.
Right. And that's something that I just learned too. I mean, talking about self-growth is understanding that we all have the right to abundance.
Yeah.
That's something that just clicked to me, that because, you know, I always thought if you have more than somebody, you're automatically going to be looked at a certain way, or people are going to, I guess, like categorize you as being, you know, I guess this might just be me, but I thought that like rich people were snobby or had a certain attitude or just was a certain way. And that's just been my mentality. That could be something that I've been holding since I was young. But just recently, I understood that there is an abundance in everything. Yeah. And that came with me stripping away that competition mindset. So, but yeah, that was part of my self-growth this year. Yeah. I just got that.
So before we get any further in, I think this would be good for a breaking point. Get a little stoppage in, because I want to come back to that point. Yeah, I don't want to shortchange that point. I want to come back to it, because at the end of the day, this is something that needs to be talked about. Yeah, I want to take a little break here before we get into that. Gotcha.
Grew up around rich people, didn't really know much about it. Like I told him, like growing up, I thought I had new friends that were like managers at McDonald's, and I was like, oh, they made it. Like that's the, you know, they got the new shoes, and I'm like, oh, that's what it. And I realized later on, going to the Naval Academy, being people like him who's met different people on different levels, and I'm like, whoa, bro, there's really a different level out here.